Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to be talking about our Quatre Bra project. We have a project that we are embarking on where myself and a few friends are working on hosting a game down in Nashville in June and at NashCon. So if you're interested in seeing our Napoleonics game, or if you want to come to a great convention in Middle Tennessee, check out Nashville's NashCon. It's on the 1st of June, and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd actually. Now they have a website up. You should go check it out. Nashcon.org, I think, is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to make probably weekly or periodically, or I don't know, bi-daily or something. I don't know. Whenever I feel like I need to give you guys an update, which could be daily, really, I'm going to take a few moments, set off to the side, and tell you the progress that we're making towards completion of this project. Let's tell you what the project is. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so Quatre Bra is a battle in the 100 Days War, which is the French, Napoleon coming back from exile, and the countries banding together to punish him, basically. And so Quatre Bra is a couple of days before Waterloo. It took place on 16 June 1815. And the French were basically advancing on the British, and they were interrupted by the Prussians. The Prussians were in the same area, and it's a big, long story. Okay. But Quatre Bra was a crossroads that Napoleon needed to maintain control of his armies, and it was a vital supply chain. And that's how the Allies knew this, and so they had a Dutch-Belgian unit at Quatre Bra guarding the crossroads. And as soon as Wellington realized that Napoleon was sending a corps to take it, he gradually grabbed whatever forces he could grab and sent them to the crossroads to defend it. Okay, so the game is the initial engagement between the French and the Dutch-Belgians, and then the French, under the command of Ney, were trying to take these crossroads, and they've got a couple of divisions, a whole corps basically, and the British and all their allies, the Brunswickers, the Hanoverians, the King's German Legion, the Dutch, the Nassaus, they all tried to come in and stop this from happening. All right. So what does that mean for me? What is this project? Well, we need to make a table, we need to paint some figures, and we need to make sure we have enough terrain on the table. And what game system are we going to play? Well, we're going to be playing Black Powder. That's the rule set that we're using. Okay. We're going to use information from Albion Triumphant. There's a Quatre Bra scenario in here. I'm rewriting this scenario. That's only going to take me a few minutes. I've already almost finished rewriting that. But there is... I'm rewriting it because of I think there's some mistakes in this book. I don't think it's completely accurate, and it might be the most accurate. But I'm doing research. I'm double checking. I'm making sure all the numbers are right. I'm making sure all the troop compositions are correct, and we're going to try to make it as historically accurate as possible. I'm going to try to make the terrain as historically accurate as possible. I'm going to try to make the unit compositions as historically accurate as possible. But I'm using the troop abilities and general capabilities out of this book, and the tactics and things like that, because this is rules for these battles for Black Powder. So they just basically merge together. I have an additional source book. It also came from this Waterloo box. This Waterloo box has a bunch of figures in it. We'll talk about that in just a minute. It comes with a second rule book. Why? That's great. I'm going to be able to give this to maybe a friend, or we can have it available at the table for people to reference in addition to my rule book, or I could leave my hardback here and take this one because it's going to be a lot easier to carry and transport. I don't know. This is a great book because it's like a quick, easy, like this is how you learn how to play the game. And I might use this during the because it came in a starter set. I might use this during the game down in NashCon to help me teach people how to play. Because there might be, we're opening up our game to beginners. We don't want to be the elitists and say you have to already know how to play Black Powder before you can play. No, if you're new and you don't know how to play, you're a 12-year-old and you don't know how to play, sit down, we'll tell you how to play, roll some dice, kill some French, whatever. Okay, so put that off this side. I got my Uniforms Waterloo book out to help paint. Okay, never mind, that's out of the way. Okay, that's just one of my 100 books that I have on paint schemes. Okay, now I just finished doing a review, an unboxing of this. This has a ton of miniatures in it. I just wanted to say, awesome. That's like a super good deal. Okay, and then right here, this is all I've done. Okay, this is all I've done right here so far on my Napoleonics. I have a French unit right here, the 96th, and then I've got the Inniskillings, I think the 27th Regiment. Yeah, I'm working on the Inniskillings right here. Okay, these guys are ready to be dipped. I'm going to dip these pretty much after we do this video, and then tomorrow I'll finish those. So I want to point out that it took me like 2 weeks to paint these French. Why? Because I was doing a video tutorial on how to paint, just how to paint, painting 101. It doesn't have to be these French, but I was using these French to do that. It took so long because I had to videotape each step, edit it, upload it, do that, and then and it basically took me, I had 13 steps, so that's 13 days of editing and uploading, right? Okay, how long is it going to take me to paint these British? 2 days to paint 24 figures. I started today, I'm going to finish tomorrow. I've only been painting these guys a few hours, right? Yeah, so I anticipate getting a unit of 24 British painted every, maybe, not just British, but British, French, Dutch, Belgians, Brunswickers, whatever. I'm anticipating getting about 2 units done a week. And with there being about 16 weeks between now and NashCon, I'm basing that on 4 months with 4 weeks each. So 16 weeks, that gets us 32 units that I'll have done, right? How many units do we need? That's a good question. Edit this out. Okay, just basing the scenario on the book I've got in front of me, which is the Albion Triumphant Volume 2. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 34. I need 34 units of just British. That's cavalry and infantry, allies, all that. That's half the game. So if I crank out 2 units a week, I'll get half the game. I've got to be faster than that. right? I've got to crank a bunch of stuff out. Now, there is an alternative to getting these last few units in the game. They say drop this last division. That's only an add-on if you've got enough time to play. And at the convention, we probably are only going to do 4-hour game sessions, and I think we're going to do it twice. We might not have enough time to do those last divisions. So, I mean, that last, brigade. That's 10 right there. So instead of 36, it would only be 26. So that could definitely happen, but then the French would be lacking, right? Okay, so, oh, and also, back up. I'm not mass producing these, right? I did 1 unit at a time. If I was mass producing, and I will be doing that with the British that's in here, that means I can get 2 units done in the same amount of time. Well, maybe not. Maybe like, because right now, after I dip them, I have to sit off to the side, and then I sit here for 24 hours or 12 hours. When I could do a unit, dip it, then do another unit and dip it, do another unit and dip it. Or I could do a bunch of units and then dip them all. You know, that kind of stuff. So I can't, like what I did with the Germans. I think I did 100 models in 1 week. So that's what I'm going to have to do to get these guys done. Another thing, the number of units I counted is full-size units. We're not doing full-size units. One reason why is, okay, I'm going to use this as an example. I'm going to pull these guys off to the side. And I'm going to push these guys out of the way just so they're just out of the way. Okay, so you can see on the camera that these guys, there are 6 stands, right? And that is a normal, or I should say a standard size unit, normal for black powder, right? So I could take, you know, these guys, you know, as a unit, and we would play with these on the table. Well, the table was supposed to be 6 feet by 12 feet. Okay. We're going to be playing on, or I don't know how to, we're going to play on a 8 foot by 4 foot table. Well, you can do the math. What is that? What is the ratio of 8 foot to 6 foot? It's 2/3, right? And then what? I'm sorry, 4 foot to 6 foot. It's 2/3. And then what's 8 foot to 12 foot? 2/3. Okay, so I've seen a guy online play his games at a 2/3 scale. So what he said was he uses 8 inches of movement instead of 12. He uses 8 inches of shooting instead of 12. Okay, so I think we're going to adopt that. Why? Because instead of, so like our units, so the battle will fit on a 4x8 basically. Okay, so now what does that mean to the units? If we have full size units, 12 figures, right? Or I'm sorry, 24 figures, they're going to take up on the table the same amount of space that a unit would take up in a bigger game, a bigger table. That's going to make the table more crowded, right? So we're going to do a 2/3 figure scale as well. So instead of 6 bases, we'll play with 4 base units. Okay, so this will be our standard size unit, and that'll be the one that moves around. I know it's a little bit less appealing than having that, you know, or that, or that, but we'll be able to play. That's what I'm saying. It'll fit on the table, and they'll be able to move. I just happened to pull off all my flank companies. Cool. Okay, so what does that mean for me as a painter? Well, I don't have to do 36 guys, right? I only have to do, what's the math? 22? Is that the ratio? Yeah, 22. So, no, 20, 24. 24. 24? 24. Okay. So, if I can do half, or I'm sorry, 2/3 of the French and 2/3 of the Allies, figure quantities, we're going to make it. We're going to be able to do it. Okay? But to alleviate a little bit of that pressure and that angst, Mike and Adam are going to be helping me paint units and build terrain and things like that. So what does that mean? Well, that means I probably only have to do half, or maybe 2/3 of everything. So that'll be great. I'm going to shoot to do 100%. I'm going to try to do 100% of everything we need. But I don't think I'm going to make that. I don't think I'm going to make 100%. I'm going to try, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Not by June. So what'll happen is I'll have a bunch of units, and Mike and Adam will have also done a bunch of units, and then those guys could supplement our units. If I succeed in doing 100%, and they also have units, then what we can do is actually play maybe on a bigger table or with full-size units or some. We'll see. But okay, now let's talk about that's the figures. Figures, I've only got my one French unit done. Actually, it's 1.5 if we do it like that, right? So I've got 1.5 units of French, and the British are almost done. They're also going to be 1.5 units. And then I've got 2 more British, 2 more French inside there, plus the cavalry, plus the Hanovers, plus an artillery piece, and I have a few generals laying around somewhere. We'll be able to get started with that until I actually get my eBay money. As soon as I get all that, which I'm selling all my Napoleonic 15 millimeters. Once that's what you see there on that. That's all bundled up on eBay. That's ready to get boxed up and shipped out. Once I get that money, then I'll be able to get all the Dutch Belgians, the Brunswickers, all the other units that I don't have that I need. And I've already put all those orders in. I built carts basically, and all I got to do is hit submit and pay. So that'll happen if I get any eBay money, which I've got a ton of bids, so we'll see. We'll see how that works. And I should know more about that on Saturday. It's Friday night or Saturday. Okay. The table. Okay. I'm going to make a bespoke table just for Quatre Bra. Okay. I have a building there. We're not going to probably not going to use it because it's really American. But I have some homemade buildings. You've seen them in my bolt action, and I've got some Sarissa buildings and some other buildings that I'll review later on. And when I put them together and assemble them, those will probably be videos, and that'll also be an update for the. But right now, I don't have anything but my 4. Actually, they technically could be 8 because they're 2 stories buildings, but they're bolt action buildings. I need to make some specific Dutch 1800s buildings. I need a bunch of trees. I have a bunch of trees, but I don't have enough. Well, I didn't have enough for a 6x12 table, but now that we've switched to the 4x8 table, I might have enough. We'll have to count some trees. We'll figure it out. And then I need hedges and fence lines and hills. But the most important thing is the battle mat. I'm going to actually have a bespoke created battle mat that I can just put on the end of the table and roll it out. And it'll be a 4x8 piece of canvas. It's actually be probably more like a 5x9, so it'll overhang the table. I might even make it so that I can tighten it so it'll be a tight fit over the table or something like that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's basically going to be a 5x9 tarp. And if I need a 6x10 or something like that, then that's what I'll do. It'll just overhang the table. That's fine. But I'm going to work on making a 4x8 terrain battlefield textured, flocked roads, rivers. Everything's going to be built into the mat. So when I roll it out, it's going to look like, there it is. There's all the terrain. Don't even have to lay anything down, except for maybe trees and buildings and a bridge or something like that. So that's going to be a project. I'm going to use canvas, drop cloth, and then I'm going to take the acrylic caulk, and I'm going to spread that out all over the entire thing to give it texture. And I think canvas is going to have a nice texture anyway. I probably could just flock straight on. I could probably just paint and flock the canvas directly. But I heard that, well, specifically for the roads and the rivers, I'm specifically wanting to do the caulk. I'm still kind of up in air on how I want to proceed with that. I am going to use like, I'm going to make some hills out of styrofoam, and they're going to go underneath. They're going to go underneath the terrain, the mat that I'm going to roll out. So I've got to make sure that the mat and the hills fit together, and the hill, and then when I put the texturing on it, it's all going to fit with that hill. And so when I pull this out, there's probably going to be like this little lump in the texturing, but that's okay. That's all right. We'll figure that out. I don't know how big the hills are going to be. Make them like this big. No, they're only going to be like, I was thinking just a little bit more than the figure high. Maybe double figure high, just to make the hills really stand out. But we'll see. And then the hedges and the rivers and the texturing of the battle mat is going to be really exciting. I can't wait for that. But I still am doing a little research on what I might even take some samples and check it out just to see how it works. And then what I'm thinking about doing as well is flipping it over, which I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I'm thinking if I flip it over and just have just plain mixed field grass or whatever on the other side, and I can use that on my table for any other game, right? Just as a table cover, and that's why I want to do the 5x9, because my table here is a 5x9, but the one we're gaming on down there is only a 4x8. They were willing to give us a 6x12. We could have had a full-size battlefield, but by going to the 2/3 scale, we're actually going to make our figure painting a lot easier. Terrain map making is going to be a lot easier, and just scale in general is going to be easier. So that's the update. I don't really have. I'll put on the screen here towards the end, like how many French units I need and how many British and Anglo-Saxons, and actually they're not Saxons. How many British and Anglo-Allied units like Nassau's and Brunswickers and stuff like that. I'll put that on the screen as well, and that way you guys can see. And what I'll do is on each of these progress updates, what I'll do is I'll make that a overlay, and then as we progress, I'll have checked off or change the color. I think I'm going to change the color, like just put it as red as it's not being finished, and then green when it's finished. That way you can see everything as it's going. Yeah, so expect these videos like every couple of days, just to let you know where I'm at. Like I'll probably do a video after I do those British just to show them off, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna dip those, and as soon as I dip those in a few minutes, they're gonna have to wait at least 12 hours before I finish them. So it'll be after work tomorrow before I finish them. But in the meantime, I'm not just gonna sit here on my butt with my thumb up my ass. What I'm gonna do is pull out some of these cavalry that I got in here. I want to start working on some cavalry just to get it out, just to check it out. I'm going to pull these cavalry pieces out. I'm going to put them together tonight. I might just do a bunch of assembly tonight, and that way we can start painting them ASAP. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video. I'm glad. I appreciate you guys supporting my channel and keeping me motivated. If you guys want to help support the channel, hit the PayPal me link in the description below, And if you want to, if you ever need anything, any advice, or if you want to ask me a question about how you do this or how you do this, I'll be glad to answer it. I would even maybe show a tutorial or a demo on the screen for that. Also, if you want a commission for anything, I'll be glad to do that too, really, honestly. All right, so I'll catch you next time.